Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Health Chats podcast from Bali. It is the first week that I have been here, not even a week, and I want to give a real, raw, authentic review of what life has been like here. I think on social media, we see things, and not just for Bali, but really like anywhere in the world, we see a different way of life and we think, wow, the grass is so much greener on the other side. It's so much better over there. And it's a very surface way of looking at things. So, for being the person who is authentic, who is real, who is raw, who is vulnerable, I want to tell you the reality and the truth of what I've been experiencing being here for not even a week and just shed some light on what you might think of as this huge and like glorious step. And I'm not saying it's not that, but I don't know. When I was in Vancouver, I had a really good conversation with an energy worker, and she was talking about gene keys. And if you don't know what those are, gene keys are kind of like human design type of stuff where you put in your birthday and like birthplace, birth year, and it tells you so much about yourself. And I always take those things with a grain of salt because there's always accuracy to whatever the internet will tell you about you. And it was also really cool for what it shared about me. The key component that stood out was that I am a realist and I am very harmonious. And in that, I am basically like equal parts delusional, equal parts so fucking realistic. And I think it's so true. I think it's so true. For those of you who know me, you probably agree. Like, I'm the girl who's like, yo, send it for the moon, like, shoot for the stars. There's no goals that are too big. And just as quick, I'll be like, hey, like, is this actually realistic for you to be reaching or setting this goal? Like, what would be a better path in order for you to actually get there? Because I like people who set goals, but I think it's even better when you can set a goal and reach it and achieve it. And I think I've built this way of life, or call it a framework, based off of my own life and my own journey of living in extremes and learning that jumping into an extreme, while really cool on the outside, can actually be pretty detrimental to you, like on a mental level or a physical level or emotional level. So yoga has taught me the middle way. And I kind of want to talk about the middle way being here, but also just like my experience in Bali so far. So if you haven't already noticed, my voice is not normally how it sounds. I am sick. I have been sick for the last 3 days and I hope it gets better. You hear all of these things about Bali belly and dengue fever, and 2-second Google results are like, hey, like here's a solution to your dengue. Hey, do you have a fever? Hey, this, hey, like there's so many things, which is really, really cool actually about living here. Earlier today, I had a IV come to my villa, which is a crazy experience. And they put a bunch of B vitamins and vitamin C and collagen and electrolytes into my blood. And if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. So I'm very grateful for that. But let me talk about like the real experience. What is real? I landed late at night. I had a driver come pick me up. This was the same driver that I had last time I was here in December, and it was cool. I texted him on WhatsApp and was like, hey, I'm going to be landing at this time. Are you available to pick me up? He was like, yes, absolutely. So picked me up. He drove me all the way to my place. I'm staying in Canggu, which is about 45-ish minutes from the airport. And for that trip, I paid roughly 30 Canadian dollars. So $30 for a 45-minute drive. To take into perspective, he does not live here. He had to drive an hour to the airport, to drive me almost an hour here, to then drive back home an hour. he chose to do that out of the goodness of his heart. It was not a financial thing. $30 for 3 hours of his time is, in comparison to Canadian living, nothing. That is literally nothing. He did it from the goodness of his heart. And he even wrote a little note that was like, "Welcome to Bali, Kelsey," and had my name on there. So that was really, really nice. Got here to my villa and checked in. I mean, I didn't really check in. They just had the doors unlocked. They're like, "It's a really safe area. Like, we don't really lock the doors ever." That to me was kind of like, what? Huh? What do you mean? People say Asia is like so dangerous. I disagree. I don't think it's dangerous at all. It's not the areas that I've gone to, anyways. Even on my layover here, I was in Seoul, South Korea for like 24 hours almost, and it felt so safe. Like everyone is so friendly. You can ask questions, even if you don't speak the language. I was able to navigate and get around as a solo female traveler just fine. And so come back to now. I came into my villa, I came into this room where if you're watching this video or watching this podcast, you see me in. I have a king size bed. I have air conditioning. I have a dresser. I have a desk. I have my own private bathroom, and it backs on to a pool with 2 sunbeds. I also have a full functioning kitchen. What else is in here? Share it with 2 people and their dog. We have an upstairs space with a grassy area. For all of this, I'm paying about $800 Canadian per month. In comparison to this, if I were to get this exact place back in Canada, depending on where in Canada I was living, it would probably be 15 to 2,000 Canadian per month. Cost wise, absolutely amazing deal. I would say that is one of the biggest reasons I came here, if I'm being honest. Like, yes, while I believe you can go and you can make money, I also know that if you want to make significant money, you do have to put in significant time. And coming back to the middle way, I like to spend my time on more than just one thing. I like to share experiences with friends. I like to share simple moments with family. I don't like to have every waking moment of my life to be surrounded on work and hustle and making money. I definitely do earn money for the time that I do spend, and I have other means of investments that will keep me financially stable and free for the rest of my life. But yeah, I came out here because living in Canada for my whole life, I was starting to realize that inflation is fucked and living there. And again, I might be coming back. I'm not saying I'm gone forever. That would be pretty extreme in someone who's been here for like less than a week. But seeing a way of life there versus a way of life here, it just makes way more sense to come here and let your money work for you and have more freedom of time. Also, I just took a peek at myself on my laptop where I'm filming. If I look like Einstein, no, I don't. This is just my hair while I'm out here. I'm also sick. I've been laying in bed. That's why the hair looks the way it looks. I hope you like it. It's actually kind of cute. Anyways, what else? Been here, paying about 800 for rent. The best and really only way to get around is by scooter. So not like a bird scooter or a lime scooter, but like a moped scooter or like a motorcycle type of scooter. And if you've followed me for a while, you know that I was in a crazy moped accident back in 2023. It was terrifying. It was awful. And after that accident happened, I had such high adrenaline that I was like, I'm going to get a motorcycle when I move home. And then the trauma sunk in, and I was like, holy shit, I'm never going to get on one of those things again. Not if I don't have to. Well, you can never say never, because now here I am in Bali and I got my motorcycle or scooter. It's not a motorcycle. Yes, it's scary driving around. We ride on the other side of the road that, as compared to like the side in Canada, people don't have a speed limit. Some people wear helmets, some people don't. There's like kids on bikes, there's adults, there's grandmas, there's dogs, there's not monkeys, but probably gonna see that soon. It's chaos on the streets and the amount of pollution that you are breathing in because of this too. You're on a bike. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of bikes on the same road as you at the same time. You're back to back when it's high traffic and you're just breathing in that exhaust. Don't love that, if I'm being honest. If I'm giving a review of Bali, maybe that's what this is turning into. Not a fan. I would love to find a mask, like one of those C92 ones. I don't know if that's what it's called, N94. But getting resources here, it's not as easy. So that's kind of a con so far of living here. So cool, it's cheap. Con, I'm breathing in super overly polluted air. I've also heard that a lot of people are burning their garbage right now because they've had a transition in their garbage system where it looks like they're trying to start composting, which they didn't do before. So we have two garbage cans. We have one for compost and then we have one for recyclable items, but they don't have anything for all of the other stuff in between. So it seems like people are burning it. Am I breathing that in? Maybe. Is that why I'm sick right now? Maybe. I don't really know. Again, not filming this to complain, just giving you like a raw review of what I'm enjoying and what I'm not enjoying. But that scooter, all being said, from beginning of April till the end of May, costed about 180. So if we compare that to car insurance in Canada, I was paying a crazy amount, like $200 a month. Some people pay more than that. I didn't have any car payments, but I know a lot of people do have car payments. $80 a month versus like $200 a month. It's pretty good. Gas haven't filled up yet, but I imagine it's going to be way less. I think back home I was paying maybe like $80 to $100 a month in gas. Fuel was also ridiculously high when I left, but I think it's high here too. Again, I haven't filled up yet, but these are my reviews so far. So cost of living, pros and cons, breathing in pollution, saving money, depends on where your values lie. For me, again, in that middle way, I like both and I believe you can have both. So I think the area that I'm living in might not be the one where I really ground down and stay because it is pretty touristy, very busy. I've heard there's other areas of the island that aren't as busy and so pollution wouldn't be as bad. They might not have as much waste, so I don't think they would have to burn garbage. Yeah. Anyways, that's how I get around. Next, food. Oh my goodness. Again, I'm only a weekend and I've been sick. First side of food, I'll talk about restaurants. So the restaurants here are insane as a fitness person, as someone who cares about your health, who tracks how much protein you're putting in your body. Like if you're trying to increase your muscle mass and you know the importance of macronutrients, getting your protein, your carbs, your fats in, this is the place for you. The restaurants, every single one of them have a macro breakdown of what their food includes. And if you don't like anything on the menu, pretty much every single one that I've come across has a build your own. And it's like 150 grams of chicken, 200 grams of sweet potato. It's honestly amazing. I wish every single restaurant in Canada was like that. And from a cost perspective, it's really low. To build something out like that, usually if you look at restaurants back home, the healthier is normally the more expensive and the quote unquote unhealthy items are a little bit less expensive. Where here it's like you eat well and you're saving money at the same time. That's restaurants. Absolutely love it. Other side of food, cooking. So the villa that I'm in, the kitchen is kind of in like the center area. It has a fan, but it doesn't have air conditioning. So my room does have air conditioning, but this area does not. Try cooking when it's 40 degrees outside and there's no air conditioning. It's the last thing that I want to do. That's my only complaint of this place right now so far. I've been cooking. I cook every day. I probably eat 70% ish of my meals at home. Ideally, I like to eat 80 to 90% of my meals at home. But I think the Bali way of living, because it is so centered around tourism, if you're not Balinese or Indonesian and like you were born and raised here, It's pretty hard to find a villa, or so I've heard, that has a kitchen that's nice enough for you to cook all of your meals in. They really do push the restaurant industry because a lot of their money comes from those places. So I can see myself probably eating out more frequently, which I don't really see as a con because the options, like I just said, are absolutely amazing. All the macros are there. It's very whole foods, it's clean. And what it seems like is a lot of people will go to the same restaurant like over and over. I went to this one place called Butter Protein Club, not sponsored, and chatted with a guy there. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I come here like twice a day." He's like, "I'm here for breakfast and lunch." And in my head, I was like, "Where do you go for dinner?" I should have asked him. But yeah, it's great. Absolutely amazing. There is no shortage on getting your protein in, no shortage on getting like good quality complex carbs and vegetables galore. It is absolutely incredible. Now, gyms. This is where I haven't quite found my rhythm yet because I've been sick. And to be honest, I feel like I have a bit of overwhelm or decision fatigue. There are so many gym options. Like there is like 3 on every single street in the area that I'm living in. And these aren't just little gyms, these are full wellness centers. They have pools, they are outdoor pools. They have cute little areas where you can sit by the pool, you can order a coffee, you can order a smoothie, you can build your own meal if you want to. The gyms have incredible equipment that is clean and it's air conditioned and they have like amazing down lighting. These are all the gyms that I've seen so far. I don't know which one to choose because what I've heard is the vibe is different based on where you go. Vibes that people are describing is like influencer central. This one's more like high end networking. This one's just like a gym. This one's more of a social club. Like these are the options that I have to choose from. And I don't know what I want yet. And the thing is, because these aren't just gyms, these are full retreat centers, or so they look like. They're not cheap. You pay $45 pretty much to drop in for one day or between 30 to 45. You pay anywhere from 150 to $400 per month, depending on which package you get and what's included in it. So I'm having a tough time deciding. I have an idea of where I'm going to go. But again, being here in this location only for a couple months, it's like, okay, do I go the route of like trying to ground down and like put my roots in, or do I go more of the adventurous, explorative route? I don't really know. I haven't made a decision yet. So that's gyms. They're glorious, they're glamorous, they're beautiful. What's the last area that I could review? The beach. Yeah, we'll finish with the beach. So the beach is about a 7-minute drive from my house. Actually, I want to talk about cafes as well. There are a million and one cafes. There's too many to choose from. I think this is also a part of the being in a new place and wanting to try out all of the things feeling of being somewhere. I haven't found one that I love yet. They're all really, really cute. They're all like co working, free Wi Fi. We got like the protein treats. And so I'll get back to you on what I decide. And then, yeah, finally the beach. It's beautiful. What beach isn't? I mean, it's got black sand. It's got a beautiful ocean with waves. There's people who surf in the morning. There's restaurants right on the beach. I went and sat at one the other day and just watched the sunset and drank a coconut. I got to hang out there for a couple hours and just chat with a random stranger. It's honestly amazing. So, overall, first week, it's been really good. It's If I had to say, I had any expectations, I would say it's been like this. I didn't expect I would get sick. I'm someone who honestly likes to lean into my courage and go put myself out there. But I also like to do that from a place of being in my highest state. And since I'm sick, I don't want to do that. I don't want to show up and be like, hey, I'm Kelsey, sniffle, sniffle, shake a hand. They get sick. What kind of first impression is that? Right. So I've been feeling frustrated about not being able to go out and put myself out there. I have been feeling lonely and missing my friends, missing my family. I am missing my routine. I'm missing yoga. Like I definitely feel a lot of the positive and also negative emotions through this transition. But overall, what I've decided is I want to give myself solid 6 months to a year to live abroad to really know if living somewhere like this is for me. Because if I look at everything I just talked about, it seems like an easy answer. It seems like yes, but I don't think you truly know if something's for you until you're immersed in it fully. So if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, that was a really good review, Kelsey, or you're like, what was that? I don't know what you're going to take from this. Again, I'm super congested. I'm not feeling 100. What better time to record a podcast than after I had a B12 IV shot into my arm? No. Then if you're listening to this and you're inspired in any way, if you're like, yeah, I want to go move to Bali, or I want to go move across the world somewhere, maybe you want to move to Switzerland or maybe to Europe or Australia, like it really doesn't matter where you go. I think it's knowing that taking that step to go, it's going to be uncomfortable regardless. And there's going to be a lot of wrinkles and bumps to iron out as you move through that transition. And I really appreciate the fact that I have this awareness and perspective to know that that's what I'm going through right now. Because I think if I didn't, I would probably have booked a flight back home already. Like, nope, this is too hard. This is too uncomfortable. This is not for me. But where's the growth in that? Right. So I'll leave it at that. That felt like a good health chat. And now I'm going to actually order some food and rest. Yeah, it's chill time. Thanks for listening. Bye.